Everyone has started Yu-Gi-Oh! A different way. Be it a family friend, a family member, the crack hobo down the street, you name it. Personally, my first experience with Yu-Gi-Oh! Wasn't with the anime, unlike a lot of the other people that I know. In fact, I was visiting my grandma at the time in her hotel room, and she had to go to work for the day, and so she left me with a babysitter, which was a close friend of hers named Matthew. Now, Matthew was your stereotypical, admittedly kind of overweight, nerdy kid. He had a lot of Xbox memorabilia, all sorts of stuff like that. You could tell he was an epic gamer, truly. We got along pretty well despite having barely known each other, considering, we were both into video games and things like that. We ended up playing a lot of Halo Reach, I believe it was, and that's basically how we spent most of our day, but eventually, he turns to me and he asks, "Have you ever heard of Yu-Gi-Oh?" And of course, I shake my head because I had unfortunately never seen Duel Monsters or even GX, 5Ds, anything like that. And so he sits me down, we're on his bed, and he pulls out 2 deck boxes. And out of them, he pulls 2 random-ass decks. And when I say random-ass decks, I mean I have never seen these cards be used outside of that singular moment. But regardless, it was pretty interesting to me. You see, I'd actually played Magic before with my uncle, and so I always really liked the fantasy card game kind of things. So he ends up teaching me the very, very basics of Yu-Gi-Oh!, and I remember growing very attached to a specific card, Ancient Crimson Ape. A level 7 beast with 2600 attack and 1800 defense, and when a monster you control is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, gain 1000 life points. Pretty bad, I know. But I loved the artwork of that card. It's a big, veiny-looking ape. What could you not like? Eventually, my grandma comes home, and I go to her hotel room, and I end up watching some random TV. Keep in mind, this was actually over Christmas break, if I recall correctly. So I'm just sitting there watching TV, and suddenly there's a knock on the door. My grandma opens it, and in comes Matthew, wearing a Santa hat and beard. And he goes, "Ho, ho, ho, Merry Christmas." He proceeds to walk up to me and hand me about 21-ish cards from the deck that I was playing that he let me use. He tells me it's not a full deck, but eventually I could get my own cards and fill it out myself. And let me tell you, I was so excited. I finally had cards of my own, and that marked the very first time I started getting into Yu-Gi-Oh! While unfortunately I can't show you my original cards, my very first set, I really don't mind very much because it was just a bunch of random garbage that I got. It was I think a total of 21 cards. So I don't really mind too much, but you can see some cards from my very first 2 decks. And as you can see by how they look, they're not only old, but they're fake as hell. Look at that. That is very fake. And so I thought it'd be really fun to look over my old cards. And let's go ahead and get started. So I got these from a Mexican flea market. And it was quite funny. It looked like an official box, maybe. I don't remember very much what it looked like. I just know it had 2 structure decks in it. And it was a zombie structure deck and a dragon structure deck. And I only have a tiny portion of those cards left. There was about 80 cards in the set. And I only have about 20-something here. So it is very unfortunate. I did give some to my friends. Some are destroyed by my dogs and other methods. So, while, again, very unfortunate, it's just kind of how it is. I can show you what I have left. And so, first off, we have Master Kianshi. He is a level 4 zombie with 1750 attack and 1000 defense. Let me focus a bit better. And you can start seeing the wackiness when you go ahead and look at his flavor text. Well, unfortunately, I can't get it very close. My camera doesn't really support that. It says he is a wandering Kianshi, searching for a strong rival to defeat. They say he was known as the master of all minstrel arts. Yeah, that's not an A in martial. That's an N. So, very goofy, very funny. I always made it as a joke as a kid. I still never found out they were fake until, 4 years later. After I collected a sizable amount of real cards. But it was really funny because I was like, oh my god, it's a typo. That's amazing. It's such a rare card. Yeah, no, it was just made with poor English. Next up, we have Regenerating Mummy, and I remember specifically using this card, making it to where it never died. Oh yeah, did I forget to mention that as a kid, I cheated all the damn time? I would always stack my deck, and I'll show you what with here in a second. It was actually featured on a Dazif video, funnily enough. But, yeah, so this is Regenerating Mummy, level 4 zombie with 1800 attack and 1800 defense. And when he's sent from hand to the grave by an effect of a card controlled by your opponent, space, comma, no space, return this card from the graveyard to your hand. See, what I did is every time he was sent to the grave at all, I just like, nope, back on field, back on field. Nope, no, didn't die. What do you mean, bro? He's regenerating. It's fine. So, yeah, it was really funny. And then we have our first we have Ryukaki. This was probably the strongest one tribute monster that my friends had, or at least between me and my friends is what I mean. And I always loved his artwork. Look at that. That is some cool-ass artwork. I know he got printed on, like, 1 or 2 recent cards. I think it was, like, trap cards, where he's fighting some warrior. And if a monster that battles with this monster is a warrior or spellcaster, comma, no space, destroy that monster at the end of the Damaja step. The Damaja step. You heard that right. And both of them have the same typo too, by the way. They deliberately printed it like this. Like, it wasn't just like a single one-off kind of accident or whatever. They typed it like this and then printed it. That is the funniest shit to me. Also, you can tell by, like, one second, let's go back to Regenerating Mummy. You can tell by the artwork as well. If you've ever seen custom cards where it's like screen caps from the anime, if you look closely at this, the way it was printed, it looks like one of those stretched JPEG screen caps, and it's hilarious. But yeah, that's Ryukaki. On to one of my favorite of the zombies that I had, and the last zombie monster that we have left because all my other ones were destroyed. We have Despair from the Dark, who also got reprinted recently on like a trap card or something. And when he's sent from hand or deck to the graveyard by your opponent's effect, special summon this card to the field. And I always thought his artwork was really cool as well. I also liked how he was massive. 2800 attack and 3k defense was pretty big back in elementary school. So, yeah, he was kind of like one of my Chad monsters that was a bit hard to get out because we only tribute summoned. And, yeah, I still really liked him a lot. Dude, like, look at the sides of these things. They're so old. These are, like, 2nd grade old, I believe. 2nd or 3rd grade. And I'm about to become a senior in high school, if you can believe that. That's hilarious. So that's it for the zombie monsters that I have left. I don't have very many of the zombies left, and I have even fewer of the dragons, but here are the dragons. So here's Armed Dragon level 3, which a lot of people know, especially now that the Armed Dragon Thunders came out. And during your standby phase, send this face-up card to the grave to special an Armed Dragon level 5 from your hand or deck. And he is especially beat up. One second, let me look at the other one. Or is it that one, or... Okay, no, it's the next card we're going to look at. That one's really funny, but these things are so beat up because while I use the zombies more than I use the dragons, my friends were always using the dragons, and they never handled my cards right. So I always got, like, really mad, but, man, the Armed Dragons are so bad, dude. And it didn't help that I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, this structure deck only came with level 3 and 5. And then, like, Burial from a Different Dimension, which, do I have that left? I know I have, like, actual copies of it, but, like, I don't have any of the fake ones anymore. But I remember I used it with Burial from a Different Dimension or whatever it was called, and I was just like, oh, yeah, it's so good when you literally only have 2-level monsters. That was so bad. And then, here's Masked Dragon, which I always liked, because he's literally, like, Pyramid Turtle. And, does he have... Oh my god, he's hilarious. When this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard as a Relt of Battle, you can special summon one dragon-type monster with an attack of 1500 or less to your side of the field from your deck, then shuffle your deck. A Relt of Battle, dude. Oh my god. And then he's probably the most beat up out of my old cards that I have left, because look at the back of him. Oh, this poor fool. I'm so glad I figured out how to treat my cards better eventually. I mean, these things were fake too, though, so they kind of just fell apart like fucking cardboard in water. But that's it for all the monsters I have left. Not very many. It's like just a tiny handful. Man. But then now we have the spells. I have 2 spells from the zombie structure deck left, or I don't know which ones are from a specific one, but these ones you can tell, obviously. We have Call of the Mummy, which I still kind of like as a card in zombie decks, and then Book of Life, which a lot of people still use, and he's actually not that bad condition, actually, compared to some of the other ones. But, like, look at the back of them, too. Like, look at the Yu-Gi-Oh logo on there. Isn't that just beautiful? Yeah, Book of Life, most people know what this does by now. They've seen, like, every zombie player ever use it. Special the zombie from grave, and then banish one of your opponents and monsters in their grave. This would be really good against something like Madolche. It gets rid of their shit so they can't shuffle it back. And then, Call of the Mummy. I really like this card, and I always stacked it on top of my deck. If there are no monsters on your side of the field, you can special summon a zombie-type monster from your hand once per turn. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It says you can only use you can use this only once per turn. Oh my god, I always love the artwork as well, but my favorite thing to do is I would stack Call of the Mummy, Vampire Lord, and Vampire Genesis on top of my deck. I would always make my friends play with, like, 3,000 or, 3,000 or 2,000 life points, right? And we never knew you couldn't attack on your opening turn, right? So I would just, okay, I'm going first. Call of the Mummy, Special Lord, Banish, Special Genesis, attack for game. Just immediately. I was so mean to my friends. Oh my god. No wonder they never continued to pursue Yu-Gi-Oh! And here's a really funny one. We're going on to the banned cards. Yes, you heard me right. There's a lot of banned cards in here. There was even more until I lost a lot of them. But here we go to Snatch Steal. And everyone knows Snatch Steal, the card that Konami brought back for one format and then immediately rebanned it. Look at the equip spell symbol. It's like so weird. It looks like the crosshair in an FPS game. Does this have a typo? Take control of a monster on your opponent's side of the field that is equipped with this card. Increase your opponent's life points by 1,000 points during each of his or her standby phases. Actually, that wasn't too bad of a printing. No typos there. But I always love Snatch Steal. Even though I was like, gives your opponent 1,000 life points. Yeah, who cares, honestly, at this point. Bring back Snatch Steal, it's so good. But I always love the artwork as well. She's just like, no, my stuff. Oh my god. And then now we have Giant TRUNADE. I used to really like Giant TRUNADE, but now I feel like, so don't get me wrong, bouncing, especially back row, is kind of insane. But it's a weird situation because a lot of people would probably just use Giant TRUNADE for their own stuff rather than their opponent's things, unlike Hey TRUNADE. So I don't know. Maybe we could get a Giant TRUNADE that's like a Harpy's Feather Duster where it only bounces your opponent's things. Like, maybe that would be good, especially because Giant TRUNADE worked really well with Premature Burial, which, by the way, A is spelt Premature Burial. That's why when I was a kid, I always said Premature Burial. And it's not even an equip spell. It's just a random spell. And this says, pay 800 life points, select a monster from your graveyard, a lowercase, special summon it on the field in face-up attack position, and equip it with this card. It's not even an equip spell. And then, when this card is destroyed, all lowercase, 1 second, let me focus again, I'm sorry. When this card is destroyed, destroy the equip monster, but it's not an equip, dude. But yeah, I feel maybe, oh, I'm sorry, I probably just banged my desk really loud. I feel like maybe, just maybe, we can get a card that's like, maybe more like Lightning Storm mixed with Giant TRUNADE, where it's like, if you control no cards, or if you control no monsters, or something like that, bounce all of your opponent's back row. Like, I feel like that wouldn't be the most broken thing. I don't know, tell me in the comments below if you think it would, but I miss Giant TRUNADE, I love its artwork. And then, next we have, of course, Pot of Greed. Never found out what it did. Oh, wait, never mind. It says you get to, draw 2 cards from your deck. No space, it's just draw 2 cards from your deck. Man, I wonder what 2 cards is. That's insane. You know, I actually used this copy of Pot of Greed for years, up until, like, 8th grade, because I didn't own any other copies of Pot of Greed. It was funny. But, this is the only 3 of I have left. It's Nobleman of Crossout. Ha, Konami, please fucking give us Crossout Designator. They've literally had that card revealed for so long, man. But I used to actually really like Nobleman of Crossout because everyone played face-down monsters. They always, like, set shit like Maneater Bug. And destroy a face-down monster and remove it from play. If the monster is a flip monster, both players check their respective decks and remove all monsters of the same name from play. Then shuffle the decks. Really good when you're a scrub and everyone's setting stuff like Maneater Bug or just a different flip monster. No, not Chadals. But it's definitely very funny, very useful. I don't think I actually ever resolved the flip effect one, though. I never hit a Maneater Bug. I always hit just random face-downs when my opponent didn't want to die. Next, we have Creature Swap, a card that I absolutely despised after a certain incident in, I believe it was 5th grade? 5th grade, yeah, because I was in GT, or like I was in like the Gifted Education program, right? You know, one of those stupid things that I absolutely despise for making me the way I am. But I remember Snowplow Hustle Rustle, I think it was, maybe. Was it? Let me look it up. Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't it wasn't fucking Snowplow Hustle Russell. It was Rocket Arrow Express. I knew it was like a level 10 with fucking 5,000 attack, but my fucking oh my god. So my friend, right? Man, it's been a long time. I ended up like I think I creature swapped for Rocket Arrow Express. I stole his Rocket Arrow Express, and I gave him something really bad. I ended up attacking with the Rocket Arrow Express, and then, I fucking... What happened exactly? I think I got, like, magic cylindered, and I wanted to, like, break down Interior, because that was back when we played with 4,000 life points, because we didn't know it. We thought 8,000 was, like, tournaments only, because all the anime was 4,000, and so we always just play with 4,000, and so I just got immediately, like, annihilated. Ugh, man. Also, Rocket Arrow Express is awful, by the way, just because it has 5,000 attack, its effect is garbage, so we didn't know how that worked, but yeah, that was the worst moment of my life. I stopped using Creature Swap forever after that. It was hilarious. But next is a card I used to think was really good. Reload. It's literally just Magical Mallet for your entire hand. That's literally what it was, but I always liked the artwork, because I didn't realize it was a gun. Like, for the longest time, I had no idea it was a gun. I thought it was just, like, a random, like, pillar thing with a pyramid sticking out of it, and the guy was jabbing it into his hand and, like, making himself bleed or something. And I don't know why I thought that. I don't know why I didn't look at the entire artwork. But yeah, it's a gun, kids. It's not some guy jamming a pyramid into his hand. And then, of course, the best negate in the entire game. A field spell mystical space typhoon. What, you think I said that wrong? No. No, that is a field spell MST. Yeah, and I used to treat it as a field spell as well. I was like, oh, I have a special version of MST. Or a special version of Mystical Space Typhoon. No one called it MST back then, but a special version of Mystical Space Typhoon where I can put it in the field zone and once per turn just destroy a back row. And it was so funny because everyone said it was so broken that I had a field spell version of it, and I agree. I still can't get over that, dude. This is probably one of the worst typos in here, is the fact that it's a field spell MST. I'm glad I still have this one. There was so many others that I had, too, that were, like, misprinted, man. Oh, finally, we got to our only holographic I remember being in there, unless Vampire Genesis was, and that is Shrink. Yeah, look at this poor card. This foil is so bad that this is what it looks like after 10 years. This is what this card looks like. Ugh. It's disgusting. I used to actually really like the artwork of Shrink. I still like the artwork of Shrink, especially the holographic ones. Because, like, it's kind of hard to see, but, like, you can see the troll in the background, and he's getting, like, shrunk down into, like, a little goblin thing. It's a very, it reminds me a lot like a stained glass, like, and I really like it. I always really liked Shrink as a card, too, back when I was a kid, because it was pretty cool. And next is a card that actually sees relevant play. It's Compulse, which I used to actually hate, because for some reason, I thought it only worked on my monsters. I was a very dumb kid. Interdimensional Matter Transporter, the card that made me think that Compulse only worked on my things. Select a face-up monster on your side of the field and remove it from play until the end phase of this turn. Yeah, I used to think that Compulse was like this. Kill me. And the final card that I have left of my repressed childhood Yu-Gi-Oh memories is a Magic Jammer. Yeah, Magic Jammer. Not very exciting or interesting or anything. It's just Magic Jammer. But I do wish that I had all of my old ones. I could spend like hours talking about all my old things and the things I used to do with them. But unfortunately, all I have left are these, which is totally fine, at least. I hope you guys did enjoy it, at least. Gotta get them views if I want to keep up the subscriber growth, which, by the way, we've gained, I believe, 23 subscribers in the last, week and a half, and that's kind of insane to me. So thank you all so much, seriously, because admittedly, my main channel, Delta PJ, my gaming channel, it's not doing too well, and my commentary channel's kind of dead. I keep making scripts to use for it, but I just don't want to. I love doing commentary videos, but it's just a bit too much work, and it's not really that much fun as I thought it would be. But my Yu-Gi-Oh channel is just kind of blowing up, and I am trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on one of my 3 channels by May of next year. So, I made a little bet with my mom in which I'd hit 1,000 subscribers on one of my channels and get monetized, and so I wouldn't have to go to college. But, so yeah, if you could help me out with that bet right there, that would be amazing. Go ahead and subscribe for amazing Yu-Gi-Tubing content very occasionally if I can come up with ideas. Tell me in the comments below what more videos you would like to see. Leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it. Maybe I'll make another video like this, and I'll try to remake my old decks, maybe make my friends play against me with them. That would be hilarious. In fact, I really want to do that now. But that's going to have to be later on, because for now, that's going to do it for the video. Again, if you liked it, please sure to hit the like button, as it helps put this video and the channel into YouTube recommended. And if you like this content and you want to see more like it, like the rest of my Yu-Gi-Oh videos, perhaps consider subscribing, because again, we're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by May. But once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. This is Aurora YGO, signing off.